came into school one day, and Ray Rotella, our principal, indicated to me that there were students here, graduate students from Denmark. They somehow got here through the teen center initially. They had been to a school in Newark and then came here, and their purpose was to study high schools in the United States.
In Denmark we study social anthropology, which is the study of the humankind, interaction between humans and why you do what you do and what makes you, you.
So we are here to try out the anthropological methods like interviewing and doing participant observation and doing surveys. And we were told to go wherever we wanted, to study whatever we wanted. So we decided to study high school life in the States because we see all those movies and TV shows about it, and we wanted to find out what it's really like.
Fortunately, we found PV High School.
Yeah, we got directed through Planned Parenthood, which is an organization that does these lectures in the teen center. And then we got connected with Dawn, who was the leader of the teen center, and she got us connected with the principal. And then we got connected with all the students and the teachers.
Yeah, then we came together like as a group and found out like who were going, and then like who had contact anywhere in the States. And then we found out that Stine, she had an old family friend who lived in Newark, and we could probably stay with her.
The woman they were staying with here in New Jersey, her daughter had an exchange over to Denmark and stayed with one of their moms. So then the woman was nice enough to say, oh yeah, you guys can stay with us.
It was a process. We started out in the teen center, and there was a lot of formal things that we had to, we had to get the permission from the principal to be everywhere around the school, and we had to have the IDs before we could like go around on our own. And also with the survey, like getting doing consent forms, we hadn't done that from home because it was like a blind spot for us. We didn't think about that before we left. And then we came here and found out that that was necessary to get information from people who are underage.
The girls are really funny. They're, how do you explain them? They love what they do. You wouldn't expect, they're really down to earth because they know how to talk to people because they're studying anthropology. So they really know how to interact with you so well, and it's just, they're so down to earth and so cool, and like you wouldn't actually think about it. It's like talking to just one of your friends from America. They're not really that much different.
I first met the girls from Denmark during lunch. The guy that they came here with came up to me and said, oh, these are our new students from Denmark. They're visiting here for the month. Why don't you try and talk to them? So I went up and I started talking to them, and one of them, Anna, she was asking me a bunch of questions, and then they came up to me a couple days later and were like, hey, can we follow you around for a day in between classes? So I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then they followed me for a day, and it was a lot of fun actually. They're really nice. And just talking to them, you get this whole different experience of what their life is like compared to what our life in high school is.
So when they came in, the students were so excited. They sat down, we put them right in the middle of the room, and we proceeded to go around and introduce ourselves, and they participated in that as well. And my students had so many questions for them. We spent the whole first day just getting to know each other and my students trying to kind of get a glimpse of what life was like for those girls and what their impressions were of American people and of America as a country.
I mean, they were a little bit older than us, so it was, not only did you have the country gap, but you had the gap between our ages. But besides that, I feel like it wasn't long before we were just talking like we were friends for a while, and it was just, things kind of just clicked when you're in an environment that you know that's safe and you could just talk to people.
They were taking notes the day that they followed me, took notes the whole day about how the classes went, what was in the classrooms, how the teachers interacted with the students, and also how the students interacted with one another.
Well, I met them during my morning announcements class. We were actually rehearsing one of our for the morning announcements, and they actually came in and they were just talking to everybody about a survey.
I really enjoyed having them follow me for a day. It was actually like a big privilege to me, like learning about like their culture and where they're from and everything. I never experienced that before in my life.
People here, both teachers and students, they have been really nice and helpful and open and very interested in our study as well, and how Danish high school life is and how Denmark is, and yeah.
Mr. Matthew Conforth, the Director of Educational Technology, wanted to provide the girls from Denmark with some substance for the research that they were doing.
Immediately I thought of our video conferencing class and the capabilities that we have to connect to other schools. So talked with them, got them together with Ms. Menike, who teaches the contemporary issues through video conferencing class. The kids got introduced to each other, and with a group called Magpie, because New Jersey Edge, which is our higher ed affiliate, was having their conference, so they were tied up doing so many things there. So Magpie, which we were in Pennsylvania, came to our rescue, and we threw together a registration and invitation to video conference with students from Denmark, and asked questions of them, and we told them that the students from Denmark were going to be asking them about how high school life is in different parts of the United States.
And even though they were very interested in high schools in New Jersey, the thought that he had was, let's provide them with some of our, using our video conference content providers, using the connections that we have, to sort of provide them with a bit of a more whole country feel. And so he called one of the providers that we're very friendly with, called Magpie, and very quickly Jennifer Oxenford, who works for them, very quickly put together a video conference call to all the schools that might be interested in speaking with the college students from Denmark who were doing this research. And it took a matter of maybe 4 days turnover, and the conference was planned, and we essentially moderated it. So it was also one of the first times my students moderated a conference, so that was a wonderful opportunity for them.
The first thing that was like when we first met them was that they were very quiet. They were a little bit more shy, but towards the end of the period and as the days went on, their attitude changed so much. They're so much more open. They talked to everybody. We actually became like one big family, like they were part of our class.
The main differences between high schools in Denmark and high schools here is probably the way that you get your classes are. In Denmark we have the same classes with the same people all 3 years of high school, and here you keep switching classes. Our schedule is also very different. We don't have the same schedule every day. It changes every day throughout 14 days, and then it changes again. So the routine here is quite different from what we're used to.
Well, Denmark's a lot different than here. Everything's paid for in Denmark. Like, they don't have to pay for college. It's because they have to pay, like here we get freaked out if we have to pay 9% taxes. They pay 40% taxes, but everything's taken care of. They don't have to pay for healthcare. They don't have to pay for college. So getting into college is more of, do you want to go to college? If you do, okay, you can go. You don't have to worry about paying for it like we do here.
American high school life is kind of what we expected it would be, but still there's a lot of different things from, like, my perception is from all the movies we see in Denmark, you know, Mean Girls, and we see Glee and High School Musical, and some of the things is really going on here, but still there's things that is not like that.
They are totally different. I mean, we don't consider ourselves to be like dumb people, so obviously we're not expecting everything to be exactly as we saw it in the movies.
The girls from Copenhagen shared with me that it actually is a lot different clothing-wise. They usually have the same clothes during the week at school than on the weekends. They dress up all the time. Usually here at PV you see a lot of students dressing down in sweatpants and sweatshirts every day.
I think that they thought our school was definitely a lot different. They definitely didn't have like all the sports we have.
Their sports was not affiliated with their school, just like how it is in America. They have to go through the town or kind of like a recreation to do sports, and their schools is just academic, and same thing with their colleges and universities, it's all academic.
And also the amount of clubs we have compared to the amount of clubs they have, and the amount of extra activities we have compared to what they have there was a lot different. And I think though the classes, as far as classes go, they were pretty similar. They took like different literature classes, they did geometry, they did history and all that. But compared to all the extra things we have just besides what we need to learn, that was a lot different for them.
To quote them, we don't have a cheerleading culture in Denmark, and they were very interested in that. And then when they saw the level of excellence, they really wanted to inquire further, so they watched a girl show tape. Then they came for the actual tryout and started meeting with the girls, meeting with the documentary film crew who are filming Girl Show. And just as cultural anthropologists, I think I could see why they had such an interest in the story. They were looking at the interaction between green and white, noticing that the girls were pretty high-spirited and having fun. They explained to me that they have nothing in their school systems that include such really any kind of extracurricular activity, including sports. Everything is in private club teams. So they wanted to see how this affected the girls in their daily school activities and how, you know, it became a part of their lives within their school community.
Like a lot of the environment and like the school interior design and stuff, it's a lot like you see it in movies and TV shows.
The physical surroundings are a lot like we expected, but I think about the stereotypes, not really. Yeah, I mean, you always see that cheerleaders is mean and they're so sweet here, I know.
Yeah. Also that you have this kind of team spirit and school spirit, and because of all these clubs and sport teams, but we really don't have that in Denmark. It's more like you have mind your own business, and yes, of course you make friends, but it's not the same like here.
And I don't think that you find people necessarily in Denmark who will go out into the world and say, "Ooh, I went to this and that high school and I was so proud because we had the winning team 3 years in a row." Or the same spirit is something that we've been really amazed to see here.
Yeah,
it's really special.
School pride. Yeah.
One of the first days we were here, went to the last football game of the season, which was really a big experience because it was so different and it was so, like, it's gonna sound a bit cheesy, but it was so authentic. Like, it was just what you expected, like marching band and footballers, and they were getting tackled, and cheerleaders, and like parents on the bleachers with like support, I don't know, merchandise almost, like, yeah.
What I took most from them being here is just how different it is and how lucky we are to have our school offers sports in Denmark. Theirs doesn't. You have to go and pay a fee and do it through a club. But in here in America, we get to do it through our school, and it helps connect with our classmates, and we create a tighter bond and really become a family.
They were, when they came to my home, it was just really nice to see them interacting with my daughters, and my daughter's boyfriend came and they had a few friends. They were all filled with questions for one another. You know, once we got past the adult questions, they got down to the kid stuff, you know, what they do for fun and what life is like on a college campus there. We did talk about our homes. They were very curious. They walked from room to room. They looked at every picture, every detail. They did describe their homes as being similar. They had chicken parmesan, which they liked. They had never had it before. So that was a success, I'm happy to say. Then my daughter, they got to talking about Girl Show again. She showed them her costumes. And then they all sat in the living room together and watched Girl Show tapes, which many people do at my house. And it was really a nice, warm evening. And they brought me a gift before they left, which was Hans Christian Andersen's Tales with the Little Mermaid on the cover, which is in my living room right now. We had a really, really nice night. And I think the greatest lesson was we live a world apart, and there are not really that many differences between young people in Denmark and young people here. They left saying goodbye to my daughter and her friends, saying, you know, that they think they could hang out anytime. They were really just great people, and it was a wonderful experience.
I think it has been a huge experience to stay at an American house with Stina's American grandmother. Like experience a real American life. I mean, it's a whole other experience than staying at a hotel or something.
Definitely.
And her neighbors were coming over for dinner, and she took us out meeting her friends, and her family is coming over.
We're gonna have a traditional Thanksgiving, like, and we never had that, and like being welcomed like that in a family, that's been really special.
I think what I learned most from especially with their studies and reading their survey that they gave us, I learned that we shouldn't judge people.
The process has been a bit long, but the minute that we actually got into the school and we met with the principal and with everyone else, with the teachers, and we got to talk to the students, everything just went fluent, and it has really been easy to get into classes and meet with people, and all the students were really helpful with doing interviews and participating in different things that we set up for them. So even though we've only actually been around the school and meeting with students for a bit over a week, we have almost gotten all the data that we need, so that's really amazing.
My overall experience with them would be I really enjoyed their time, and I feel like not only they learned a lot, but we learned a lot about how they live and how different it really was from how our schools are.
I think the memory we'll take back home is the pride of the school. We all bought a sweatshirt with the PV Hornets, and yeah, I think it will remind me of the school and all the team spirit and all the, I think that even though there are different groups and different years and different people, I mean 1,400 students, it's a lot of different people, but still you can feel that there is this spirit that connects all of them.